everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy and I am a full-time reseller. On today's video, I do have my what sold, and it is for, the week of March 24th through the 3rd, so the last week in March. It was a pretty good week. I will say one of my better weeks in quite a while. Mercari had 5 sales, which lately has been like 0 to 2, so that's great. Poshmark had 19, that was good. eBay 21, and then Depop did have 15 items sell. So looking at my notes for the week, Mercari, like I said, had picked up a little bit, so did Poshmark. eBay, I did change my coupon code. I was doing 15%, and I thought, you know what, let's just see what 18 does. What I have is I have the coupon on there, and then when people are watching my item, I will just send them the same discount of 18% off. I don't know if that helped with the sales because it was a little bit higher than 15%. I do price my items the same all the way across the board on all platforms, so I do have quite a bit of room to move on eBay. And then on Depop, that was pretty good there. I did have a 6-piece bundle, and that went for $147. So that is great. I love when items move on Depop. That just kind of gives me that extra confidence that I know what I'm doing and I'm picking up, you know, the appropriate pieces for that platform. So since we have quite a few to go through, I will just get right into it. So starting with Poshmark, this was the brand XOXO. They were a pair of like prom shoes, special occasion heels. These came from one of the stores in town. I've talked about this quite a bit recently. They're like Amazon returns or pallet type stores. No one looks at the shoes, and I've been doing pretty well with them. These were still new in the box. They were a size 8, and they did go for $25. I think I only paid $2 for these. Next up was this little skirt. It was from Buyer IZ, California. Just a flirty little floral skirt. It was a size 14. And this one did go for $20. This was a Yellowstone hat. I've had this for quite a while. It was new with tags. I bought this probably at least 2 years ago, thinking, you know, Yellowstone, I believe, is pretty popular. I've never watched this show, but from what I've heard, you know, there's quite a big fan base. I don't know. It just, no one was really interested in it. So someone offered me 15, and I was happy to see that go. This is a pair of Judy blue jeans. This is the one exception, I think, to that brand that I won't pick up, and that is like a pattern. The jeans do great for me. This has sat for, I'm thinking, at least like a year and a half. I know that it is very spring. You're probably not wearing this in the winter, but this took quite a while to sell with the pattern. These were a pair of Frank and Eileen jeans. This was the first and only time I've ever found this brand. It was at Savers, and they didn't have them priced too high. I had them listed, I think, for like closer to 90, just because that's kind of what the comps were looking at. I had quite a few lowball offers, and I decided, you know, after a while, people keep sending me like 60, 70, so I should probably just take that because there doesn't seem to be any interest above that amount. I think I only paid like $9 maybe, so 9 into 70 is not bad. These were a pair of Sanuk sandals. I probably wouldn't pick these up again. I think I got them at Goodwill like for $1.99. I've had them for a while. Someone offered 15, and I was happy to see them go. These were a pair of Nike cropped leggings. I don't know where these came from. I think I'd have to look to make sure, but if I had to guess, they probably came from the bins or a mystery box. I just don't really see myself picking up a pair of cropped leggings. So that makes me think mystery box. Someone did finally offer 15. Once again, happy to see those move. This was the last Alan Flusser shirt that I have. I've sold, I think, 5 of these. I don't know much about the brand. It seems to be pretty popular because there was quite a bit of interest on all the shirts. They were all kind of like in this quirkier type pattern. Some were more colorful. Some had more paisley print. This one was a size extra large. They all were, and it did go for $23. This was a torrid slip skirt, kind of like body shaping type deal. It was a size 4X. I believe I got this at the bins. I don't think I would pay up for this. There was a small snag in the fabric, which, you know, isn't the worst because more than likely they're wearing this under something. And this did go for an offer of 17. These Worthington sandals I got at JCPenney when they were having their clearance event. I think I only have two items left from that trip, one being these exact same shoes in a different size, and then a pair of linen pants. Otherwise, everything sold from that, which is great. I paid $3 for these. These were a size 8, and they did go for $24. Next up is Draper James. I do pretty well with this brand. I'm just pretty strategic in what I'm getting. I don't get smaller sizes. I try to stay in plus size. If I can find new tags, that is good. Holiday themed dresses seem to do the best. So like the greens and reds in plaid around Christmas time do well. These longer dresses with the tiered skirts in the plus sizes do well. This I picked up at the bins and I did get $22. Patrons of Peace. This brand I don't do the greatest with, but this was kind of a cool look to it. It had Swiss dot print on it. It was maxi, it was tiered, it was long sleeved, kind of had that corset type look. This came from the bins. There was a little bit of wear to the buttons. The buttons were covered in fabric. I did put that in the listing, but I did still get $28. This is one of the first bundle deals that have sold. If you are new to the channel, I have been trying to find items that are in the same brand, same size, same type of style to bundle them together in hopes that someone will see that as a better deal as opposed to just buying one. I'm not doing this with like high demand items, just kind of stuff that I see at the bins that if I just found one, it probably wouldn't be worth my time, but if I could find a couple, it might be. And, you know, someone's going to think it's a greater value to buy it as a bundle. These were both Knox Rose. They were both 2XLs, Nua tags, maxi dresses. I've tried selling these in the past, and they sit for a really long time. These I listed as a bundle, and I think they sold within 2 weeks for $35. So definitely something to think about if you are a bin shopper. This is a pair of 511 tactical pants. I don't pick these up as much as I used to. They just don't move for as much as they used to either. These did have a couple flaws. I think it was just a little bit of discoloration. I don't think that's a big deal with these brands. And, you know, unless someone is wearing this for a uniform, if they're wearing it just for, you know, outdoor activities, I don't think it's a big deal. They were a size 32, and they did go for $21. This was a pair of Crocs. I'm pretty strategic on Crocs as well. Normally the big clog ones can do okay, but the ones I do best with are kind of like strappier looking sandals that are like, I'll pop up a picture. I don't find them all that often, but when I do, they move very quickly. So I was kind of trying out this style. It was more of a comfort Croc to make it look like an actual shoe. I only got 18 for these. I don't know that I would pick them up again just because these took quite a while to sell. This was an Old Navy athletic dress. It did have shorts attached to it. This is the time of the year when this stuff is going to start selling, I think, a little bit more. It was in this really pretty brown color, size large, and it did go for $17. Another dress very similar to the last one. This was Abercrombie & Fitch. This was a small, tall, in that same kind of brown neutral tone, and it did go for $18. This was a pair of cool pants. They were more of like a chino as opposed to the outdoor like nylon type feel. They did not have the size tags in them, unfortunately. I found them both at the bins. They were both the same size. I did put, you know, the size that it was. I had them marked up quite a bit higher, but they just were not getting attention. I don't know if people didn't like that the size wasn't in it. So finally I was like, you know what, I'm putting it up for $30. Hopefully somebody gets them. It's a good deal. 2 pairs of cool pants for $30 is a great deal. So happy to see those go. This was a vintage 90s style skirt. It had kind of a mixed floral print on it. It was tiered pull-on, a bigger size at 22W, and it did go for $22. Now onto Mercari. Victoria's Secret. This sports bra I have sold a couple different times in different colors and sizes. It doesn't move as quickly as it used to a couple years ago, but this one did go for $22. This was a vintage top. I don't believe, the brand tag was cut out on this, unfortunately, but it did have kind of like an abstract animal print almost to it, and these pretty like brown and muted blue tones. It was a size large. I think this came from Goodwill on $1.99 day, and it did go for $24. This was a pair of Wilfred pants. I did pay full price for these, $6.99 at Goodwill. I did look up comps. This is definitely a brand that I would look up comps for, just because it's, you know, Wilfred Aritzia doesn't mean it's going to sell. And this wasn't a smaller size, a size 6, and they were cream. So it was like there was kind of a lot working against it. But I figured I could probably use some of those keywords that people are looking for that might draw some buyers in. Some of those that I used were classic, classy, timeless, neutral, quiet luxury. They were a wide leg, so that's good as well. And these sold within 2 weeks of listing for my full asking price of $40. This was a pair of Old Navy linen pants. These were striped, I believe. Yeah, cotton linen blend. They were tapered, size 2XL, and these did go for $18.75. I've had this shirt for a really long time. It came in a thread-up t-shirt box. This Mezco, I looked this up when I first got it. It's like some sort of fake band, I think, that's like made out of claymation or something like that. I don't know. This was the last shirt of those. I had gotten 2 in that box, and it did go for $19. Now into eBay, this was a women's cool top. It was plaid. It kind of had that, you know, rugged type material to it. It was a size medium button front, and this one did go for $20.50. This was All That Jazz. I think the brand's from like the 90s. It had like a really pretty, not quite emerald green, because it almost had like a grayish green tone to it. There was some pilling issues, definitely on the inside and on the outside. I made sure to take really good photos of all of that and put that in the listing. Someone did get this for $30. I've had this Tigger shirt for a really long time. This was from, I think, the Disney store. Yep, it was a Disney store. It had a raised print on it of Tigger. Short sleeve, size extra large. This came from the vintage t-shirt store in town, and somebody did finally get it for my full asking price of $29. This is the brand Fresh Produce. I have 100% sell-through rate with this brand and Cut Loose. Those kind of remind me of each other. This was more of a neutral tone. It did have some floral details to it in this pretty like sand tan color, size medium, and this one did go for $23. Honey Love, one of my favorite shapewear or bra type brands to sell. This was a size extra large. These type of styles go pretty quickly, and it did go for $22.96. This was a fun dress. This is from No Boundaries, so the tag definitely looked more like 90s to me. It was the denim top with the skirt that was connected in that ditzy floral print. It was a size large. It did have 2 front pockets, and this one did go for $21.32. All of the amounts are a little weird because it was 18% off. This was J. Jill. I got this at the Goodwill bins not that long ago. It was new with tags, a size 3X. It did have this little cute braided belt to it. And this one did go for $40.80. Eileen Fisher, I don't pick up everything from this brand, and a lot of it that I do pick up, I send a thread up just because I have a very hard time selling it. This jacket I got at the consignment place where I did have that booth for a period of time. They had all of their jackets 50% off, so I think I got this for only $10. It was more of like a windbreaker, lightweight jacket. It was a size large, and this one did go for $41. Sag Harbor, this came in, where did I get this? At the bins. I think I showed it in a haul not that long ago. Just this cute, romantic, kind of flirty, floral type print skirt, a size extra large, pull on, and this one did go for $18.04. This is Ava and Viv. I don't pick up everything from this brand. These just came from that place where everything was $1. The Bermuda style shorts that are plus size and have quite a bit of stretch, those normally sell very well for me from like now until about midsummer. These were a size 22W, new with tags like I said, and they did go for $14.76. This shirt was picked up at the bins, style-based with that cross, kind of the McBling, cyber, emo, MySpace deal. Short sleeve, I think this one had some issues underneath the arms. Yeah, there was a little bit of discoloration, but it did still go for $13.94. Sincerely Jules, this came in JCT, JTC, whatever it is. It was new with tags, kind of a boxier fit ribbed sweater, size large, and this one did go for $18. I got this Maurice's dress at the bins not very long ago. I think this sold like same week that I listed it. It was an extra large, kind of like a more It was kind of like a creamish white. It had floral, very Easter, tiered skirt on this one, and new with tags. Yeah, this one was new with tags, and it did go for $22.96. Old Navy, this top sold the same day that I listed it, but it is supposedly being returned. It's new with tags. It had some smocking on it, peplum type top. It did go for $16.40, so we'll see if this one comes back. This was a Chico's skirt. It was new with tags, a size 1.5, which is a 10. I would not have paid up for it just based on the size, but I did find it at the bins. It was new with tags. Skirts are pretty good right now just because of we're getting into summer, people are golfing, that kind of thing. And this did go for $19.96. This was at Sun Kim Dress. I showed this, that was quite a while ago now in a thrift haul. From what I know of this brand, it's kind of more like of an obscure type silhouettes that they make. This was really baggy. It had these really big pockets. It was a size extra large. Let's see. And this one did go for an offer of $49.20. This was the sale of the week. These were actually my dad's Legos from when he was a kid. They were from the 60s. I wasn't exactly sure what all belonged in this set. I tried asking him, but he didn't know. Because he had some other toys that were similar to Legos that had like some trees, whatever. So I just put in the listing. I counted everything out that there were 335 pieces. And then I just put some could be missing. There could have been some added just because I don't know. And I couldn't find very many listings of this exact Lego kit. So someone did come in and they did get it for the 18% off for $111.51. So this was one of those items that was just sitting in a tote at my parents' house for years. And they are going through things. My dad has given me some of his stuff and said, you know, do whatever you want with it. If you want to sell it, get rid of it, do whatever. So this was a great, you know, flip for zero cost of goods to me and getting it to someone that's going to appreciate it. He did send me a message saying he was really excited to put it into his collection. So I'm definitely happy, you know, with the amount I made and that it's going to a good home. Next up is a pair of Champion girls like outfit bundle type things. They both came from that store where everything was $1. I am trying to move all of that out. I've been saying that for weeks now. So these two did go for $18. This was Soft Surroundings. This one I found at the bins and I couldn't believe it. It was in excellent condition, size medium, this really pretty maxi dress. It screamed vacation, and somebody got it for $41. This Talbot's top sold way quicker than what I was anticipating. It was only a size small. It was new with tags. I think it was cotton. Yeah, 100% cotton. Got this at the bins. I was probably thinking it was probably going to take like at least a couple months to sell. If not, maybe it'd get bundled with something. But it sold almost immediately for $18.04. And then the last item to sell on eBay, this was, what was the brand? Dress Barn, vintage Dress Barn, in this really pretty purple color, almost a tie-dye grungy type look to it. Size 3X, it had stretch, and this one did go for $22.96. Now into Depop, these were a pair of gauchos from Studio Y. If you have never worn a pair of gauchos, they are so comfortable that I'm almost hoping that they kind of come back. Just because they're like yoga pants that are super baggy and stretchy. So we'll see. I would imagine maybe it'll make somewhat of a resurgence just because it's very Y2K. And these did go for an offer of $22 and they were picked up at the bins. This skirt, I'm pretty sure I showed in a haul not that long ago. It was like a velvet type material, black and almost like silver. Size medium, pull-on, and this one did go for $24. This is from the brand Access, long sleeve. It was nylon, that baby doll style with kind of like a floral type print on this one. Size large. I'm pretty sure this came from Goodwill on $1.99 day, and it did go for $16.50. This was the brand White Stag, another skirt. I sell quite a few skirts. I like picking them up. They're super easy to list. They're very easy to measure. This one had kind of like a tiered look to it, a little bit of a mixed print, size extra large, and this one did go for $17. This was a Fall Out Boy shirt. It did not have any interior tags, so I did have to measure it. There was some wash wear to the white. It was kind of turning like that grayish type color. But somebody still did get it for $15. These were a pair of Roxy shorts. I've sold these on eBay, I think twice, and they got returned both times. So I was happy that they got sold on Depop. They're very tiny. I think they were a size 9, but they're very, very short in this really bright yellow color, and these did go for $16. Another skirt, this is from Craft & Borrow. It's in these blue tones, really preppy with this plaid, size 18, so a good size there, and this did go for $24. This was kind of a fun piece. I don't know where it came from. It didn't have any tags. It was like an apron that you could kind of put over a dress. I called it, what did I call it? I called it an apron dress overlay because I didn't know what else to, like, how else to describe it. It tied in the back. It had straps that went all the way to the back. It had the really pretty eyelet detail throughout, some ruffles. I did measure it to be about like a medium large, and there was so much attention on this on Depop. So somebody did get it for a full price of $28. And this was from the bins. So now on to the 6-piece bundle. The first one was a silk top from Rampage. This was from like 90s, 2000s. It did have that bell sleeve on it. There was a little bit of discoloration to the silk. Next was Secret Treasures. It was like a mini slip type deal, like dress in this really pretty dark red. Then a Vanity Fair cami. This was vintage. It still had tags on it. A Steppin' Out dress. This was also a mini dress. It kind of had that iridescent purple tone to it. Another black slip. This one I don't think had any interior tags on it. And then this really pretty like dark romantic floral pull-on skirt. So definitely a cool style bundle in here, and that one did go for $147. I did have to pay some of the shipping on there. I do have it set up on Depop where they pay, I think, like the highest amount of shipping on whichever item, and then I pay the overage to whatever it's going to be. I figure that's a pretty decent deal. The fees on Depop are not that much, and most of the stuff that I'm picking up from Depop is from the bins, so their cost of goods is not very high for me. So that is definitely, you know, a deal that I'm willing to give people on Depop. So this week was great, over $1,600 in sales, which was what? Like $600 more than the week before, so that is great. If I could continue within that realm or even go a little bit higher, that would be great. This week I haven't done my numbers yet. It's currently Monday the 7th, so I'll have to kind of see where we're at. Just from what I can remember of what sold last week, I don't think I am near that. I don't remember there being like a lot of bigger sales. The week that I showed you just now, there were quite a few, you know, over $50 items that sold, which definitely helped. Also not sure if it was because I was listing more that I'm getting more sales, if it was what I was running for sales on eBay, if it was just a fluke, if people were just buying then. People could be getting their tax money. You know, the economy is pretty crazy right now with the stock market, so we'll see how it goes, you know, in the future here. As far as videos go, I believe, what day is this coming out? Wednesday. So that following Monday, I should have my Depop and eBay type video where I'm going to show you kind of how I go in there and look for what keywords people are using on items. I can market my items better based on, you know, styles, keywords. Let's be going over that. That will be for the next video come Monday. So let me know in the comments below, what have you been looking for to put in your closet or your stores? I've definitely been trying to find more spring, summer stuff. I'm not really looking at jackets as much anymore or boots. If I happen to see them and it's a great deal, I will definitely pick it up. But I'm finding myself definitely looking more at linens, cotton, you know, dresses, swimsuits, shorts. So let me know below what you're kind of looking for right now. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a like. It really helps out the channel and I really appreciate it. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.